Hi, good evening, everyone. Last week we stopped at 親所好力為具. When something pleases our parents, we should try our best to provide it for them. Okay? For those of you who have still have the lecture notes, for those of you who don't have, you can refer to the PowerPoint on the screen. Now, I'd like to actually delve a little bit deeper into these few phrases here because they form actually the very important aspect of 弟子规. Because I don't know whether you have heard about traditional culture being very repressive or not. 中国人的教育很压迫式的. They like to repress people. Okay? So whenever we think about Chinese school, it's very autocratic, very repressive, and it seems like the students have no say. So what we found was the Chinese educated students, they are more docile. Docile in the sense that whenever we ask, do you have any questions, usually they do not dare to raise their hands and ask questions or speak out. This is a very distinct difference between a Chinese educated person and an English educated person. I'm talking about general, okay? There are exceptions. Okay? I'm talking about general. Now, this is just from my observation. For instance, we talked about Professor Emoto. He's very famous for an experiment that he did called the message in water. Whereby in this experiment, he put water, in test tubes and labeled them. For instance, some of the test tubes will be labeled as love, or hatred, or thank you. Right? And then after some time, he would take out this water and freeze them at certain temperature, and then start to slice them, and put them under a very powerful telescope. And he found out that with water that is exposed to nice words like thank you, love, appreciation, the crystals comes out to be very, very nice shaped. Whereas the water that is exposed to I hate you will come out to be not as nice. So he comes to the conclusion that human body is made out of 80%, 75 to 80% of water. So if water can receive messages like that, which means that our emotion can actually affect, even the moths like to come to attend lecture tonight, can affect our health, our state of being. So it is important that we keep a very healthy attitude towards our life. And in one of the pictures, that he showed that it's called I hate you, or I kill you. We found that the image that was captured was like a bandit with what we call a mask holding a gun. The water crystal actually appeared like that. And when the water was exposed to a song sung by Elvis Presley called the Heartbreak Hotel, the crystals looked heartbroken as well. So it was a very interesting experiment, and he got a lot of responses all over the world. And we also brought this up during our class. Most Chinese students, they accepted. When we had our English course, then one English educated kid questioned. And why did he question? Immediately that night he went home and Googled it. You know, Google, this huge search machine on internet. He Googled it, and immediately he came back and asked me. He said, Miss Song, this is actually not very scientific. Because there are certain scientific evidence, that cannot be reviewed. And it's not that all the crystals come out are all the same. They will choose the best ones or the worst one, to substantiate a point. Okay? So it's interesting, isn't it? That was the first time ever I got asked by a student after hearing the story, and they were from our English class. And there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, I really appreciate it. And many of our teachers have this experience. They found that the kind of students who would greet them on the road, meaning that they'll say, "Hey, 老师, Chen 老师你好, Song 老师你好." Now, are they normally high performance students or naughty students? They will say, "Ah, Song 老师你好, 老师你好." Usually, are these naughty students or very well-behaved students? Well-behaved, isn't it? So we tend to believe they're well-behaved. Actually, on the contrary, we found that naughty students, they're actually very warm, towards human beings. And once you become their friends, it's not that difficult to teach them. But those students who fare well in the class are more concerned about their marks. They're not as concerned as dealing with people, because they will tell you, "Sorry, I can't help because I want to study. Sorry, I cannot help because I want to prepare for my study." Whereas, naughty kids, they don't have anything to lose. They just like to mingling around, "Hi, how are you?" and so forth. Okay? So actually, it's if you have a very rambunctious kid, it may not all be that bad, It may not be all that bad. So don't be too disappointed. Don't feel too sad, because he may be a kid who has great potential. You just have to learn to appreciate this kid. Right? So you said, he's very bad temper. Now I look at what you wrote the other day. I found some similarities there. Now if you are a very good tempered person, would you have very bad tempered children? I'm talking about parents. If one of you is angry all the time, your child may pick up that habit. Right? Normally, again, I'm talking about generality. If parents are good temper, they tend to have good temper children. Okay? And if you live in a family who is constantly quarreling, you will find that your children will also pick up that habit. I was listening to a parents-teacher meeting in the other class, and this lady kept standing up, telling the whole class that she could not stop the brothers and sisters from fighting. 他们整天吵架的. So some good-hearted parents will tell her what to do, advise her, you must let them, you must be fair, okay? Or the punishment or reward, you must be fair, because it works, in their cases, and how they will accompany the kids, to help them to grow, to solve their problems, and so on. But every time somebody raises a solution, she will reject it. 不可以的，我试过了，这是不可以的。So she kept rejecting and rejecting and rejecting. Nothing positive came out from her. Now, if you have a mother like that, would you be positive yourself? You won't. You will pick up all these negativities. That means nothing you do can ever satisfy this mother. So there's one magic word called encouragement. Encourage. Okay? Encourage your kid if he or she does something good. Okay? Discourage them if they done something bad. You have to be very clear about that. There was a kid in our school. He came from a very rich family, the only son in the house, so he was doted by his parents, and his father actually, and his grandparents. There's nothing you can do, to kind of punish him if he misbehaved. So the mother brought him here, to want to start a new kind of training. And the mother found that he would take a long time to eat. Do you have children who takes a long time to eat? As if it is within his power to control the meal. He just eat two chunks, and then he'll stop and start playing like chopsticks, going over there, talking to people, And meanwhile, the poor mother, because he was witnessed by so many, she would just sit there. She didn't dare to do anything. So she said, how am I going to train my kid? Right? Because at home, whenever she started to do something, the grandparents say, no, he is still young. Let him play, let him enjoy himself. Why are you so uptight? Just let him play, let him enjoy. 小孩子嘛，小孩子是要玩的嘛，要什么？你让他高兴吗？是不是什么全部要绑着他？ But you always have to tie him down. Right? Now, just now we talk about how Chinese education seems to be a little bit more disciplined. Okay. Now there is a reason why they are more disciplined. Right? Now, the English educated kids, they are all right because they speak out, but there are also flaws about their character because they like to question everything. And I found it in one of my courses. And the first day was okay because one of them kept raising the hands, and she would like question everything I said or other teachers said. So I found that when I have to answer all his questions, she was dragging me my lessons because she likes to just ask questions. For instance, we said, for parents, because parents give us unconditional love, they take care of us, we should actually take care of them when they are old. We should be nice to them. And she immediately said, well, I don't know about that. In Indonesia, there was an actor. When he was younger, his father put a gun and pointed at him. Do you think we should be filial to this man, to this father? Cannot. And in her journal, I found out that what was her, we say, what is your hobby, okay? She said, my hobby in the past was to scold one person a day. That was her hobby. Right? So everything we said, she would. Okay? And she would even group all the other girls. She's like the ringleader. Group all the girls, be late and so on. And and then we show a movie called Children Under Heaven. It shows two very poor children. Right? They were so poor that they could only share one pair of running shoes. So the brother would go to school first, okay, and then run back home so that his sister could wear the shoes. Okay, this was an original Iranian movie. His father was poor because his father could never, do anything beyond his ability. Like one day he was sort of crushing the sugar for their mosque, and one of the family members said that, oh, can we take the sugar lump and put it into our tea? Father said, no, cannot, because this is the property of the mosque. This is public property. We cannot use public property for our own consumption. Now, he is that kind of father. So the two kids, even they were very poor, they never thought about stealing or demanding. They even write notes because they were so afraid that their conversation would be heard by the father. So they write notes to each other. Well, what are we going to do? Father doesn't have a job. Mother is working almost 24 hours a day already, taking care of us, taking care of the house. So what should we do? They were writing notes. And then, well, so what? We share the shoes. Don't tell the father about it, because the girl's shoes, it was so badly repaired that it's almost beyond repair. But she was still wearing them until one day she lost them. Okay? So she had to share the pair of shoes with her brother. So one morning, because of the sister was wearing the shoes for the morning session, and then she ran too quickly and the shoe fell into the ditch. So she had another adult helped her to take out the shoes, but it took her some time. So she was late. As she ran back home, her brother said, "Why are you late? I'm going to be late." He said, "Oh, what to do?" So he quickly hurried up and ran to school, only to find the principal was standing at the door and asked him, "Why are you late?" The boy, despite he was poor, he had dignity. He has dignity. He didn't want his principal to know that he was so poor, so he didn't answer. So the principal was very angry. Okay, so you know what? You should be careful next time, huh? Don't be late, huh? Okay. Yeah. So this is the story that they saw. Okay. Now, one morning they were late. All these girls were late. I stood there. That was the third day of our course already. Okay, so I decided to teach them something about punctuality. So I wrote on their names triangles. Triangles mean late. So I wrote triangle. Okay? And then I purposely stood at the door. And then as they came one by one, by the way, all of them had long hair. So it took them a long time to dry their hair in the dormitory. You know, they didn't want to wake up early, and so they want to chat at night, and so they couldn't wake up early, and they had to dry their hair, clean themselves up, and because I could smell the soap. And they came in and they saw me and quickly, and then saw triangle in the registration book. So most of them didn't say anything, except of course the ringleader. She also didn't say anything. She just went to sit down and then start to write her journal. Then I read her journal. Her journal said, "You know what? They should understand why we are late, just like that movie." You see the way she analyzed things? Absolutely illogical. All she was concerned about was being late. She did not go deeper and think, actually, why was the boy late? Because he had to share the pair of shoes with his sister. And his sister got late, and therefore he was late. Not because of the reasons that caused them to be late. And she wrote down, you know, what's the problem? What's the problem? Okay, fine. And then I found that the fourth day, she still had to ask the Lord. You know, she kept raising her hands. Now, you got to remember, these are rich kids. She's, I think, in her early 20s from another country. And you know that this kid can be sent to overseas. Their parents are very rich. So I was talking about superheroes. You know, superheroes, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, all this. And then I said, what is so great about this superhero? Because I know they're hero worshipping. What's so great about these superheroes? So all these superheroes, they claim to have superpower. Actually, they all, need, they advocate violence. They always have to go and hit on somebody, kick on somebody, and claim victory in the name of saving the weak and the poor. Okay? So you got to understand that it's only symbolic. It doesn't mean that today, when you want to solve problem, you go and kick people like the Rangers, isn't it? What Rangers are they? Power Rangers. Yeah, see, I know he knows. Because every time I know that what cartoon is popular just by looking at the students in my class. Like one day they will come in and do this. Then I know it's Power Rangers. Then one day they came in with this. Hike. Ultraman, you all know, huh? So I say, 哎呀，老师太痛，很像的哈。These are 7 years old. See how television can affect our kids? You have no idea, okay? So they came in. I said, if you want to choose a superhero, choose one who is really powerful. For instance, maybe Superman, okay, he can lift up the earth so that the meteorite will not collide with it. Okay? And also, Superman is a bit mild, right? He doesn't go and violently hit people. I said, where's Ultraman? He will fight for 5 minutes and run out of battery. And then some more, he uses solar energy. What happened if he couldn't find the sun that day and not enough energy to break through the clouds? 5 minutes, then you go D2, 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 and then he got to recharge. So everything has to be finished within 5 minutes, otherwise no battery. I said, 哎呀，你们选这些超人，都选一些比较有 powerful 一点的嘛。Then they say, okay. So I was talking about along the same line. And she was about to say, I like superheroes. You know, I like superheroes. They are great. Then I kept talking, and so I come to Iron Man. Iron Man, I said, it's very powerful, right? Yes, very powerful, handsome, but actually very obnoxious. You know, he despised everybody else. He thought he was great. He even tell everybody that he was the person who killed the villains. So he told everybody that, okay? And the girl said, wow, man, that's cool. So I said, okay. Now, if you are going out on a date with Iron Man, you go out with a date with Iron Man, okay? And you walk, and then suddenly somebody came up and rob you, right? And then your Iron Man boyfriend told you, hey, sorry, wait, I left my suit in the car. So what are you going to do? But say Iron Man 3, the suit is implanted in him. So no need to live at the car anymore. I said, you think about this, how heavy is the suit, okay? Okay, you might have this super light material, okay? But it's still uncomfortable, isn't it? Right? Anything that's inserted into our body is bound to be uncomfortable. You want a boyfriend like that? Like, okay, or okay, you say, no. He says you got very flexible, materials. Okay, but you're still what? You want a human or a half robot? Okay, I say, please think. And then I found that I cannot let her raise any more questions. Right? And then I will just keep on talking as if I did not see her, but I addressed other people's questions, not hers, because I found that she was just raising questions for the sake of raising questions. For instance, like she wants to bargain with parents. If you are good to me, I am good to you. 親愛我孝何難. If parents love me, being filial is not difficult. You think, hey, that's right. But he said, but if parents hate me, it's very difficult to be filial. 親憎我孝方賢嘛，他說很難做的 cannot. So she was trying to bargain for this filial piety. Then what happened was, it was during the discussion, her peers, okay, the more mature individuals, and the slightly more attentive younger students, who actually make her realize that you actually cannot bargain with your parents about love. If your parents were to actually calculate the sum of money that they spend on you, you most probably cannot return to them. Because the minute you can afford to have a living, you start to have your family. You have to start taking care of your family. You wouldn't have much money left to pay back. So, despite their vocality, sometimes they take it to the extreme. They feel that it's their right. And they don't really much concern about other people's feelings. So everything has both sides. Now coming back in the defense of Chinese educated students, okay, I must defend them because I'm half. 6 years I received Chinese education, totally in Chinese. We started learning English in standard 3. Malay, I believe also in standard 3. Okay? Otherwise, everything is in Chinese. Until I go to secondary school, everything became English with one Chinese textbook. Okay? So I got the best of both worlds. So for the Chinese educated student, I found that they are a little bit more considerate, for other people's feelings. The sense of group activity, team, they are much more like that. And I found that we have perhaps misunderstood, the sense of Chinese education, the traditional Chinese education. It says very clearly here, if our parents have fault, we should advise them. 亲有过，见使更. It didn't say 亲有过，我们不去管，是闭门羹，没有。他说 if our parents have faults, we should advise them. How do we advise them? 怡无色，柔无声. Now this is important, okay? Whenever we try to change somebody or correct somebody, it is very important that we keep ourselves calm. 为什么要怡无色，柔无声啊？ Why? Why can't we scream and yell? Why we have to 怡无色，柔无声? Yes, Jerry.
When you're calm, you can think of a calm way. If you're shouting, then you know just like
Yes. When we scream and yell, our logic is not clear. Our statements are not clear, and our thought jump here and there. So the result is the other side cannot hear even a think. Right? So I always said, if you want to really teach somebody something, teach one thing at a time. What is one thing at a time? Right? Like for instance, the kid. Her mother was very anxious. She said, he's 3.5 years old. One more year he'll be 4.5, another year 5.5. And if I don't teach him now, as you say, 1,000 days is gone, and when 1,000 days are gone, and I won't have a chance. And after the 7 days, 3,000 days, I don't know what to do. And you also said after 7 years, 3,000 days, she had no more help. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I just want to go to Pure, and I don't want to keep on looking at him. I said, calm down. Okay, calm down. So you do it one thing at a time. Okay, one thing at a time. Now he has this problem with eating slowly. Okay, so you talk to him first. This son, we're going to finish this meal. Okay, which is just only one bowl with 3 dishes. Okay, we're going to finish it within half an hour. Within half an hour. Okay. After half an hour, if we are not finished, okay, we will take away whatever that's left, okay? And then when you're hungry, you can continue with the leftover. You have to be very firm. You don't have to worry about, 哎呀，会不会肚子痛啊？这个是不是会肚子痛啊？等一下，你看我爸爸又骂我，妈妈又骂我，你看我老公又骂我，那 so you all must cooperate 啦。A child is what he is today doesn't happen just overnight. A lot of factors. So you have to be very patient. Right? But at home, you go with the child. Try to let if you stay with your in-laws, try to let them understand as well. Okay? And no, they won't listen. It's not easy. Okay, let's talk about it. It's not easy. Okay, now. We're going to talk about 亲所好力为具，亲所恶谨为去. Now, what you 所好 may not be what they 所好. What you 所恶 may not be what they 所恶, isn't it? Okay. I heard someone who said, somebody love watching television. Okay. So somebody in your house loves watching television, and you are dead set against television, right? Television is bad, right? What do you do? What are you doing about it? Oh, I'll tell you your solution first. Maybe you have a better solution. Okay, since you say very hard. Okay, let's hear from you.
Oh, eating, huh?
Okay, let's talk about eat first. Food is important to Chinese. Yes. Yes. Mm. Eating slow, the child eating slow, right? And yeah, you feel that it's actually quite shameful when your in-laws have to tell, why is your kid eating so slowly? All the food is cold already, okay? Must be your problem.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay. Yeah, any help here? Anybody who has successfully conquered this? No? Oh, all your kids don't eat slowly? No, huh? You do? Oh, okay, yes. You have the same problem? Did you conquer it?
I think I better speak Mandarin, can I?
Okay, sure, okay. I can translate.
OK， 我的小孩就是属于很慢食的，食到吃东西非常的慢。所以我每一次我家婆就会骂我，而且如果是谁看到我的小孩，就是很夸张，因为我小孩很瘦，所以就是这样骂了10多年了，骂了10多年了，
你的孩子还是那么瘦？
很瘦，很瘦。他有讲，就是像刚才那位朋友讲的一样，就是他知道这么慢，不要给他吃，给他收回来。但是我的儿子真的不会饿的，我试过听他的话哦，他那一天就吃那一餐，就是这样子。所以就是试过了很多次，也是不能。其实后来我追踪，就是当然是他们吃东西是慢，但是他们会吃，但是他不好吃，就是一碗。但是我的家婆哈，她就是要他吃2碗，而且她要他吃得很快但是她是不会，她是可能我也很瘦，然后我先生也很瘦，但是我的叔叔很胖，我的婶婶也很胖，我的伯伯很胖，我的伯娘也很胖，所以她要我们这一家也要跟他们一样胖，就是出现这样子的状况然后呢，就是像我自己。当我家婆有在的时候，我就有跟小朋友们讲，配合一下啦，不然妈妈等一下就比较，要婆婆要讲妈咪的这样子咯，就是这样子。到现在我孩子还是很瘦了，所以我家婆如果很有气力的时候，都是会讲关于我家里很瘦的，这样子。
Interesting. So. It's not that he was playing. It's just that he didn't like food. Well, there are people who like that, don't like to eat. Is there any food that he likes? That he would eat a lot?
No. The food very delicious, also little. Food is very normal also.
Okay, so he's not playing with the food, not like the kids they are playing with the food. And your kid also that didn't like food?
I understand that kids actually they eat slow is good for their digestion, but my in-law doesn't understand. It's like because they want people to quickly eat, quickly finish the food, and quickly clear the table. That is their concept. But it's just that they cannot accept when kids eat slow, very slow, half an hour, and then they'll just say, take the food away, no point. But then my son, when he was very young, he's very skinny also. So, but what happened, he's the only, like what she says, the only skinniest boy in the whole family, the grandson. So, But what happens, my mother, because of worried, get Chinese herb and all these things, but right now he inflated already.
Your kids has become,
Yeah, slightly.
okay, inflated. That's a good word, I like that. Instead of fat. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so you see, now first of all, let's just define what is fast, what is slow. What is the speed you consider as slow in terms of eating? 1 hour? 1 hour is slow. Unless, of course, there are different occasions. But let's start from this little kid first, okay? Why do we train little kids not to play with food? It's different, okay? These kids are playing with food. And they choose and pick the food. Okay, so these are young kids, pick and choose the food, and they play with their food, and they eat, and they go and play around, and not paying attention at all. We're talking about kids like this, okay? Now, why do we need to teach them? Everything we teach kids now must help him to socialize in a bigger environment. If he eats and play around, it's actually not very good, number one, from a health point of view, not very good for his digestive system, isn't it? And I even saw him, do a chopstick and put, stick his nose. I said, what are you doing? Now I'm talking about kids like this, okay? And then he would, but as soon as you said, you quickly eat, and then I will give you some chocolate. He will, and then he'll go to the table and say, he'll take a chocolate by himself. I said, have you asked your mother? Yes. My mom said, if I finish my meal, I can have chocolate. Now, is that a good way? No, that's not a good way. That means that he is performing a duty for you because you are satisfying his desire. So in a way, he's still controlling you. Okay, so you're still not teaching him to be considerate. So, and thirdly, when he has to, when he eats so slowly, really he was delaying our staff. Our staff have to wait for him to finish. So that's another thing, because we always teach people how to manage ourselves. Actually, managing ourselves starts from little things without you knowing it. Okay. So we have to train little children like that. One, not to pick and choose food, not to delay, and not to wandering around during mealtime. You must train them to focus. Okay. Now, but one of the things that if that happens, who is the first person you should examine first? If you find that your kids play with the food, no attention. Actually, they pick up a lot of, my science friends like to tell me it's genes. They pick up some genes, genes, DNA. They pick up some DNAs from you. So he said, the first thing, you must look at your DNA first, because you duplicate the DNA to them. Right? So yeah, you're right. She's very thin. Her husband's very thin. So the kids are very thin. Can I take a guess? You also don't like to eat food that much.
No, my husband.
Your husband likes to eat food. You see, you're okay, huh?
Everything I can eat. My husband, this one don't like, that one don't like. Then the children all think. And some more. One day I take my husband photo at the young time. I say, Mom, you see, last time my husband so good. That's why this is a gene.
And this is a gene.
That's why.
Yeah, we pick up some DNAs from there.
Yes.
Okay. So there are reasons why we teach little kids not to play with food, not to pick and choose food, because life is not perfect. Right? Now, then you said, how about the food you're giving the kid? If he is normal, he doesn't play with food, it's just that every time he looks at your food, he doesn't feel like eating. So we should examine a little bit about what kind of food we offer to the kids as well. Now, my mom was a great cook, so we never complain about her cooking. I mean, even the rice she cooked was so nice that when I rushed home and there was no more vegetable left, I would just scoop up the rice and just pour soy sauce on it. And it was absolutely delicious. Okay? And if I was lucky enough, I would find an egg, and when the hot rice in the cooker, you just crack the egg in there and put the soy sauce. It's also very delicious. And talk about scooping out the last part of rice. You know, 飯煲底下咪燒窿啊？你哋中唔中意食啊？唔中意食啊？好好食啊 ！I love it. Yeah, so it's very delicious. So I always scoop the last bit, and go and I would treat it as if they are potato chips. So those were my potato chips, right? Because we had 11 children. My father had to work very hard to keep us alive. So no snacks, nothing, right? So it was my potato chips. And when I was doing a research on this class, I found there was a story called 親所惡謹, the tale of the burnt rice. So this person called Chung, he was a very filial kid, and his mother was one who loved to eat this burnt rice. I guess because they were not very rich, so the mother is always the one to pick up the last bits of leftover. So his mother loved burnt rice. So everywhere he went, in his tour of duty, he was a little minor officer, who would, go out with for military expedition. And everywhere he went, he will always bring back a bag of burnt rice. For whom? For his mother. He will always do this. Anywhere he went, he would do this. So one day, his military was defeated, and they were stuck in a place. Everybody else was like lost, and they were starved, and they couldn't have anything to eat, and they finally died. Whereas him, because he was carrying a pouch of burnt rice, he survived on that burnt rice. All because he was a very filial son. Because he carried that for his mother. But he didn't know that burnt rice actually saved his life. So I find that if we help people, actually our help boomerang back to us. I remember years ago, we were going to a retreat where they have spring water. The water came directly from the mountain. It was not filtered, very sweet water. And as I was about to go out that day with two friends, and I remember an elder lady who was very nice to us, always cooked for us. So I brought a big gallon of bottle, and I thought, of bringing back the spring water for her. So we went to the retreat, we finished what we had to do there, and then I filled up the 1 gallon of water, and then put it at the back of my car. And then I was driving at around 4 plus in the evening. And I was driving, and I suddenly find that suddenly the meter that measures how hot the water temperature in the car suddenly get higher and higher. And I started seeing smoke coming out from the front of my car. I thought, oh my God, what's happening? Okay, and obviously the radiator, broke, and my car was kind of like boiling. So I managed to actually reach Kuchai Lama and drive my car to the side of the road. Then I was standing there. Then suddenly one of my passengers, he was actually working as a mechanic apprentice before. So he said, oh, your car is like this boiling, right? Then what did we think about? The gallon of water at the back of my car. See? So it saved me. If I did not have that gallon of water, I would have been stuck there because it started to rain also. and everybody just passing us by. Okay? Everything was fine because my car was so hot, so the rain actually cooled down as well. And then the rain was not heavy, so heavy that it actually drenched us. Then one guy on his motorbike came and then asked me, 小姐，要帮忙吗？他说我是做mechanic 的，我可以帮忙你啊。我说好像我的机器烧了。他就讲对 there's a leak in my radiator. So he did the same thing. He took the gallon of water and he told me, he said, I'll pour it in there, but it is not going to be enough. It's continue to leak. Okay? You can go to the nearest gas station or find a repair shop and then get it fixed or get it towed or something. Okay? And that's what I did. I got enough water to go to the gas station, okay, and then go to the gas station and pour some more water and got home. Now, had I not thought about taking the spring water for the elderly lady, I might have been stuck in the road. And I wasn't one who likes to bring handphone. I didn't like handphones. My friends didn't like handphones. All three of us did not have handphones. So you can imagine my situation. But one good thought, 一念善心啊，来救了我。So it's always, you do good things will boomerang back to you. So even for the children, how do we groom the consideration? I think the mother said to the children, 你好心啊，给点面子你妈妈啦，要不然妈妈又给婆婆骂了，是不是？ So actually, they may say, 哎呀，不可以让妈妈给婆婆骂。Yeah, you can use that. Okay? But as if your kids are very small, if you still have a chance, okay, you need to train them not to pick and choose food and not to play with food, and always give them nutritious and delicious food. Don't blame them if every day you fry kangkong and fried eggs and 又係炒紅菜啊。Don't blame them, okay? And when you cook, when you cut up the vegetables, don't long strings, okay? Do cut them within reasonable length, okay? I had a student who came from Brunei. He was a teacher, music teacher, but he doubled as a DJ. At night. So he came to our course. He actually said, I wrote a very nasty bio. Hopefully that you will not accept me. What I didn't expect was you actually accepted me. So that's why here I am. I was forced to come here by my principal. And he said, come here, and I found out that all the meals I'm going to take will be vegetarian. I hate vegetables. During the sharing, English educator, I hate vegetables. You know why I hate vegetables? Because when I was a kid, I was almost choked to death by a vegetable. So I hate vegetables. Okay, well, mothers or daddy, when you cut vegetables, don't make it too long, okay? Give it so that your kids won't choke and leave a permanent scar in his life. Okay? So he has declared himself as the enemies of vegetables, just because of one piece of vegetables that almost choked him to death. Okay? That's why 事虽小，勿擅为. Even though a matter may be trivial, don't do it. You have no idea that such a little thing could scar this kid for life. Okay? So he was very stubborn, and one day we said, 年方少，勿饮酒，饮酒醉，醉为丑. That means when we are young, do not consume alcohol, because most accidents, okay, were actually caused by youngsters who drank alcohol without knowing how to control themselves. Could be in a binge drinking, or because that's one night that they decided to drink a lot for a company or something, or they take drugs. So the 弟子规 said, when you are young, when you do not know, how to control yourself, and you do not have the wisdom to make a decision, it's best that you do not drink alcohol, because once you get drunk, you become very ugly. Your behavior, you may make mistakes, make mistakes that you regret later on. So we're talking about this, and then he started raise his hand, and he said, well, I have something to say. And then he had something to say, okay. He said, why can't we try drugs? Good drugs, bad drugs, neutral drugs. If you don't try them, how do you know it's bad? And you got to remember, he works he has a DJ at night, right? And then, of course, we have some so-called very upright students in the class. And we also have some school teachers. And so they were like bombarding him all over, okay? Yeah, you don't know, drug is very bad. You shouldn't, encourage people, and you are a teacher, and he was very defensive. So when I look at this situation, okay, sometimes it's no point, just like your kids when they're fighting, it's not enough to say, hey, 你们不要再吵了哈，不要再吵了. Then you let the story end there? No, you can't. You got to do something and make this person realize. So I was thinking, what can I say that can help him to realize what he was saying was actually not the correct? I remember this story called 三杯将军, 3 cups general, 3 glass general. General, 3 cups. Called 陶侃. Now, Tao Kan was a great general who led a lot of expeditions, but he had a habit. No matter what victory he achieved, he would only drink 3 cups of wine, alcohol. He would not exceed that. We watched the movie. How they always have victory toast, yum saying until they all dropped. Not Tao Kan. He will only drink 3 cups. He will only drink 3 cups because he promised his dad. Because when Tao Kan was younger, he drank and he got into some troubles. So his father said to him, can you promise me that you would only drink 3 cups of alcohol and 3 cups of wine, and you would never exceed that? He said, yes, Dad, I can promise you that. 我不会喝超过3杯，我一定会做到的。So throughout his life, he did that. He never drank more than 3 cups out of his promise to his dad. So I said this story, and then suddenly he quieted down. So, and then he started to say, actually, my relationship with my dad is quite good. I love my dad. And yeah, if my dad makes me to promise him that, I will. So everybody just kind of kept quiet, stopped. Sometimes, you may hear the story, which is a very simple story, but if you use it at the right time, you can feel the effect, because you really can feel what the other person needs. And I had no idea that what was his relationship with his parents. I just thought, if a son can keep his promise till the day he died because of a father, okay? And always something that we usually can be so easily tempted, but because of a promise to his father, this man has kept, okay? Which most probably helped him to win many battles. Okay? So, as you see, when we said, children don't listen to me, or my husband doesn't listen to me, or my wife doesn't listen to me, maybe there are something still missing in the conversation. Okay, I want you to hear this conversation, okay? First of all, there is a stimulus. That means action, okay? And then we have reaction, response. Something is said, somebody responds. Now, you said this. We have a course. We are conducting a course. And you walk into the class in the afternoon, you found out that the MC was giving instruction to the participants who were inside the class, a 5 minutes meditation lesson. But it wasn't in the program. It wasn't in the program, and you saw the MC did that. And because it was not announced, so some group members did not attend the lessons, right? Because they thought they only had to come back, by 2 o'clock. Right? So this guy wrote this down. He said, "Why did the MC do that? It wasn't in the program. If this is so good, write it down in our next program." So his objective is to write this down in our next course, right? To have the 5 minutes break for the participants. It's good intention, isn't it? It's a good intention? So, good intention. Now, his action is, 这个课程都没有说为什么他会这样子。如果真的这么好啊，你下次叫他写在那个这课程里面。Now, it doesn't sound good, isn't it? And luckily, the MC wasn't there. So there was no response, no reaction. Right? Now, I changed a bit. Right? Wow, you know what? I noticed the MC was very considerate. She might have noticed that some of the participants were a bit drowsy. So she initiated a 5 minutes meditation lesson for them before the class. She did not interrupt the class, but before the class started, she initiated the 5 minutes meditation for the participants. I think she deserves an applause. Right? And if it is proved to be good, we can actually write it down in our next course program. Well, what do you think? Now, isn't it much better? He would have achieved the same objective without offending the respondent. Okay? Okay. Now, if you are the respondent, let's say, unfortunately, you were there sitting there, okay? Okay, I'm going to ask one of you, okay? Who is braver here? I ask you and you won't panic. Oh, Jerry again? No, Jerry is brave. Sure, he won't be. Okay. I ask you, 做梦你这样就没有写的吗? It wasn't in the program, but why did you do that? How would you react? Now, you will feel that you're a bit hurt, isn't it? I was thinking for the participants, why do you talk like that? Now, if you don't calm yourself down, using 弟子规见人恶即内省, when you see a very, it's horrible person, okay? So what do? You reflect upon yourself first. Calm yourself first. A lot of things said here is to try to calm ourselves first, okay? 怡无色, 柔无声, also calm ourselves. 将家人, 先问己. If you want to do something onto somebody, you ask yourself first, would you like to be treated that way? All these things are actually help us to calm down first. So let us learn this first, okay? Called deep breathing. If you are easily angry, if you are a very bad-tempered person or impatient person, first learn to take a deep breath. Do you know we don't know how to breathe? Did you realize that you did not breathe for the past, 30 minutes or so? Yeah, we have to learn to breathe. It will help us to calm down. Okay. Now, when he said, 做 怎么你的儿子整天这样的吃这样慢的？你没有教的咩在家？你说 ，What do you do? You actually you start. Okay, so what you do?有教啊，不知道为什么会这样呢？然后回到车是怎么样？哎，为什么你这样呢？哈，我有没有教你啊？有啊，是不是？为什么你还会这样呢？来跟妈妈讲一下，为什么你会这样呢？ You talk to them. Okay? After your child is over 7 years old, you can start talk to them as if they are little adults. Don't worry. They may understand, they may not understand, but you talk to them. One day it makes sense. Now my 4 years old student, you know why 4 years old would come to my class? In 2002, we started this 弟子规 program. Actually, we haven't started the 弟子规 program. I wasn't sure it will work or not. I just heard that 读经的孩子不会坏. That's all I heard. So I went to Taiwan with a group of colleagues, and we found that, hey, it's not bad. So I came home, and when we started this 读经的 course, but where to find students? 读古文啊，好像很难的。Where to find students? So I simply just, in our society, I was talking to my secretary. I said that you have kids. You can send your kids to my class. I'll teach them 弟子规. And 读经哦，你的孩子不会坏的。Then the mother of the 4 years old heard that. She quickly came to me. 真的真㗎，唔要壞㗎，唔要壞㗎，打包單。Actually, I have no idea. I have no idea 咯。唔使驚，唔使驚，梗好㗎。係咪真㗎？真㗎，我睇好快㗎喎。My son is very naughty. No, don't worry, don't worry. He will be good. That's why, but like she didn't tell me it was 4 years old and very, very rambunctious. He would walk into my office, sit in my chair and swing on the swivel chair. Okay. And then he came in and then took my pen and just simply put everywhere. Took it out, put it everywhere, put it back, and he was simply doing it. And one day he took the seal and then started chopping everywhere. And we will learn that we have to be patient. 做老师要 especially 弟子规的老师不可以打，不可以骂的 ，you know. It was a true sense. Actually, to tell the truth, there were times when I look at kids like that, I had this feeling that I would like to, but don't sue me for it, okay? Just in my mind. I actually would like to put my hands around their neck and slowly shrink and then or just take them out and throw them out the window, you know. This kind of impulse. But I said, no. 弟子规老师 must be patient. We must be very patient. Okay? So patient. But every Sunday he came to the Sunday class, he would yell and scream. It was a normal scene. If he didn't scream or yell that day, it won't be normal. Every Sunday we miss his scream because he would scream and yell. So he was one of the 6 students in my class. And we had to have his mother put him, he was just a small kid, put him in between her legs because we didn't have tables, didn't have chairs. Every one of us sat on the floor. So his mother would sit like in the lotus position and put him in the middle and that's how we go through every lesson. And he would not open his mouth. His mouth was only used to scream and yell. He would not read a single word. So we would practice, we would read, we would tell stories, we have kids come out to the front to read, but not him. And it would be a deadly fight if I ever asked him to come out. But I have to be very patient, I cannot lose face, so I can ask him. And one day, there was a power shortage. There was a power blackout. So we didn't have any light. So I said, well, should we stop the class? Okay. And the parents said, no, since we are here, we may as well continue. I said, okay, since you would like to continue, so I'll continue the class. So we kind of opened the window a little bit, enough light to come in to help the kids to read. Then, as usual, I said, okay, kids, who would like to come up to the front and read? And then he was actually wearing a Superman cape that day because it was his birthday. And I think he couldn't tell whether it was Superman or Batman because they all look alike. And so he came out in the dark, half-dark classroom, and suddenly he recited this way. 弟子规圣人训，首孝悌，次谨信，泛爱众而亲仁，有余力则学文. Wow! I say, and then suddenly the light came back. The light suddenly came back. He stopped. Then only I know why was Superman. He was a Batman, because Batman lives in the dark. So he was very lively in the dark. He would roam around in the dark. So actually he knew inside his little head. That was after 1 year of struggling with him. Okay? And so the little boy was barely 5 years old from the 4 years old that I knew him. And then one day his mother told me, he said when he was taking him to a shopping center and walked past a cyber kind of cafe, suddenly he blubbed this, 斗闹场绝无尽. You know, 斗闹场绝无尽, and that means a very rowdy place. Distance ourselves from it. Don't get near it. His mother said, huh? 你说什么？斗闹场绝无尽. This he knew. And then he said, his mother said, the first thing I do when I hop into our car is to play 弟子规 disc. And then my son would tell us that, and then I would recite 弟子规 with my daughter. And then my son would tell me that, 妈妈，你这个不对，你哪里又漏了一句? He knew. He was that clear. So never kind of underestimate your kid. They may not look like they are listening. They are, you know. So the kind of shortcomings that they have actually may come from us, without us knowing it. And actually sometimes when we look at the kids and we look at you, we roughly can match. Can match who are your kids. I was talking to your mother here, and I saw her kid in the corridor. Right away, I got the feeling that he was your son. Because he was chewing something, you know, those long gum. He was chewing that. Hi. He said, hi. I said, hi. Is your mother here? My mother? Behind. He's behind. Very confident kid. Oh, okay. And then I wanted to look into the class, look at the kids. And he saw me opening the door. He said, no, not there. My mother is not in there. I said, no, I'm not looking for your mother, I'm looking for the teacher. Oh, okay. Because my mother is behind. You know, it's actually very cute, isn't it? So, you know, kids are cute if you learn how to appreciate them. You know, to actually see there is actually certain strength about them. Right? So this kid very confident. Right? So if you cannot communicate with him, communicate a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. Right? Even though you may speak Cantonese, you may speak English, it's okay. Because kids can switch their frequency very fast. Okay, you will see kids talking to the grandmother in Hakka, then switch to the mother in Cantonese, switch to the friends in Mandarin. Okay, if they're in an Indian village, maybe they'll switch to Indian. Well, no, and then you see his head like thing like that. Okay. So don't worry. No, the important thing is to talk to them. Okay? And talk in a way what? To really observe. Okay? Now, let's say you are the respondents. So why this way kept saying, you know, look upon ourselves first. The effect is actually to delay this gap. Because every action has a reaction. So the key is to delay this reaction. That's what 反求诸己 is about. It gives us time to calm down. All this 反求诸己 is to give us time to calm down. Because when our mind is calm, it's like a pool of calm water. It can reflect everything. you can understand. But if our mind is very cluttered, very messy, full of opinions, we cannot see things clearly. Life is actually very simple. Okay, let's do an exercise where life is very simple. Can I give you some rough papers? Ina, can you give some rough papers? The what you like may not be what people like. What you hate may not be what people hate. Try to understand what they hate and what you like, and set down the ground rules for your kids. It is not that actually difficult. So tonight we talk about some ground rules. Connect with your kids. I find that actually kids, they like to communicate. After I close the door and I turn my back and I was walking back here, he said, I finished my chocolate, because he wanted to talk some more. I said, oh, that's good. I need to go to my class. Had to come back here. Okay. So they need to communicate. And life is very simple. Hey, we do it one thing at a time. Appreciate your parents, your spouse, your children, and be considerate. These are laid down the ground rules. Life is actually very simple, but we make it difficult. So let's look at this PowerPoint. Now, you have a piece of paper here. Now, look carefully to the diagram. Now, I'll ask you 4 questions. Look carefully, okay? Divide the white area into 2 equal pieces. Divide the white area in A into 2 equal pieces. Easy, huh? Now, divide the white area in square B into 3 equal pieces. Not hard? Not difficult. Now, question 3. Divide the white area in square C into 4 equal pieces. Very difficult? Well, let's see. Take your time, think. Want the solution? You want to try it? 4 square. Let's try it. Divide the white area, square C, into 4 equal pieces. I'll give you 3 minutes. It doesn't matter, as long as it is 4 square. It could be square, it could be triangle, it could be round. What? 4 triangles. Sure? Sure? 4 triangles. Come and draw it here. Draw it on your paper. Draw 4 triangles. Draw 4 triangles. They have to be equal. we have a suggestion, 4 triangles. The 4 triangles must be equal. They must be equal.
Must be equal.
Area C only. Area C only. Only in square C. How's our accountant doing? No? Okay. Now, all of you seems to have drawn triangles. Didn't work, huh? Okay. Now click. Here's the solution. No triangles, huh? Okay, now, this is a tough one. Divide the area D into 7 equal pieces. Okay, now do it. You see the young people go in and Google handphone. You find the answer? Wow. She's looking for squares. Very complicated. Some are weaving baskets. Square starts to look like a basket. Okay, now let's see the answer. Huh? Isn't that simple? So you see how our minds can be conditioned? How's our mind conditioned? Because one square is tougher than the other. So you automatically adjust your mind, condition your mind to thinking the fourth one is going to be the toughest because B is tougher than A, C is tougher than B and A, and therefore D must be tougher than all of them. And then our friend says that 4 triangles. And then all of you started to draw triangles. When nobody suggested that, I have seen different shapes. But as soon as somebody suggests 4 triangles, all of you were writing triangles. I said, well, then you draw it because she was very sure. The answer is 4 triangles, no mistake. I said, okay, then draw it. Then when she drew it, she realized, hey, it's not equal. They are not equal. Okay? That's why the world record for this answer was 7 seconds. And you guys were weaving baskets. And when I was in Philippines, we used the note paper with lines. So the note papers run like this. Right? She was writing on note paper. And then she did this, the last square, she actually did this. The answer was right in front of her. The answer was right there. And then she started 7 square, then like that, like that, like that, like that. That's already 4 already. Cannot, then rub. And then she kept on doing like this, you're weaving basket. Without realizing that the answer was right in front of her. What does that tell our mind? Tell about ourselves. We condition ourselves. We make ourselves believe when the answer is so simple. See, most of the times our mind gets conditioned so much by the circumstances that we cannot see the obvious. It was so obvious. We assume that things are so complicated and we get entrapped in the ghost of its thoughts. And we carry on the same syndrome to our relationships and make them complicated. Now, when you scold your kids or your spouse or your parents or your friends or colleagues about something that they did yesterday, it was yesterday. Did it happen today? Not yet. So why are you keep bringing them up? Now, I have this friend, she was very concerned about, for instance, our organization. She kept reminding me, hey, don't be argumentative with so-and-so, be nice to them, be harmonious with them. I almost forgot about these things until she reminded me. I forgot them, that she bring them up again. I forget them, and they bring them up, she bring them up again. So we don't need to keep on reminding about people's faults, but encourage them to do good. See, be simple in life. Look at this. Do you see a man in there? Are you sure it's a man? It's only 1 line, 2, and 3, that's all. Why do you see a man? The shape of the head and the ear. Is that the ear or is it the frame? The spectacle frame. A ear, isn't it? Okay. Will anybody think this is a woman? You won't, isn't it? Why? Because your mind tells you already a condition that a man looks like that. Isn't it? So, did you see his mouth? No. Nose? But somehow you can see they are there. Isn't it? Although we did not draw it up there, but it's there. Why? Your mind already conditioned that nose is over there, mouth is over here, the rest of the ear is over here, and he's a man. Okay? So actually greatness of this man was his simplicity. Life is very simple. It's just that we make it complicated. Right? So if we said 親所惡謹為去, say, yeah, they give us a lot of problems, our parents, they don't listen to us. Right? What should we do? 謹為去, that means discreetly, okay? Get rid of all your previous conditions. Oh, you all want the previous slide. Okay. Get rid of all your previous conditions. Okay, that's why 怨欲忘, 恩欲报. All these negativities, put it aside because it will obstruct your obvious. That he or she might have changed, okay, or he or she might have done something good that you totally ignore because of your previous impression of that person. Right? So keep it simple. Just see one thing at a time, hear one thing at a time, say one thing at a time. And don't jumble up everything and you say, 好慘啊. Right? So the next time when your in-laws you say that, you say, ha ha, yeah. But at home, you must talk to your son first. Why are you like that? Is there something that mom should know about? Like why you eat so slowly? And if you are in good terms with him, maybe follow that example. 哎呀，你不要这样啦，因为你这样每个人要很持才。It will delay people, their job. Okay? Then, actually, find some time to talk to your in-law about digestive system. Why eating fast is not very good for our stomach. We need time to chew the food. We need time to digest. Okay? So eating too fast is actually not very good. Okay? So we can find time to talk to them. As long as, you got to remember, okay, if you smile to the world will smile back at you. It's like you stand on top of a cliff, you shout, 你好, how are you? It will shout back, how are you? And if you shout back, I love you, it will shout back, I love you. And if you shout, I am sorry, it will shout back, I am sorry. And if you say, please forgive me, it will also say, please forgive me. And lastly, thank you. It will shout back, thank you. Right? So the 4 magical things. 1, say sorry, okay? I'm going to say, I am sorry. 2, please forgive me. 3, you can say thank you because for forgiving us. And 4, the important one, I love you. Okay. Say it very sincerely. I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Practice it. It may be hard at the beginning, especially if you say in Chinese, it's very awkward. Say it in English is okay, right? I love you, right? Say it in Chinese, try to say it in Chinese. It's harder, why? When you say it in Chinese, it's almost like you have to be responsible. Say it in English, as if you don't need to be responsible. Yeah, I love you, huh? But in Chinese, 我爱你. So learn to say in 我爱你. 你真的是爱这个给你很多麻烦的这个孩子，这个很麻烦的家婆，很麻烦的先生，很麻烦的太太。Everything is 麻烦。Okay? So now all this 麻烦 is how you stand on the same cliff, you shout, 你很麻烦. He will, 你很麻烦. Right? 我讨厌你. It will go, 我讨厌你. So whenever you shout, come back to you, why not say something that is nice? Keep on saying this. Say 4 things. Done you wrong, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Okay, so start practicing tonight, although it's hard. And your husband or your wife may think you are crazy. There's something wrong with you? It's like if you have slapped that person for 10 years, suddenly you come home and say, I love you. Do you think he'll believe it? You think she'll believe it? No, she won't, okay? So again, take your time. Don't give people pressure. I learned this tonight in the class, you know. But how come it's not effective, huh? Why do you don't have response, huh? Again, pressure. You give people pressure. Love does not have pressure. Love is easy and going, okay? So with that, I'll end my sharing here. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night. Thank you.